This will be a fall update video of a bunch of my projects, because Lord knows I have enough of them. So we'll start with this one right here. My 42 Chev military truck project, which I have plans on putting a 5.3 in it, and a modern transmission and stuff like that. I got the Dana 60 front, Dana 70 rear axle in it. Post a link down below of the project and what I all did to it and how I got where I am. Got U-bolts in the back, the Dana 60. Kind of wish I was farther on this project, but just too many irons in the fire right now. So there's the Army truck. Here's an update on my 73 Riv. It's supposed to be in my uncle's shed, but right now he's got some electricians over there actually putting the wiring in my uncle's shed. So this is sitting out here, covered up. This is a project that I really got to get started on sometime soon. At least get a motor in it and transmission so I can at least move it underneath its own power. Would be sweet. Looking inside here. So I got some stuff for it. Picked up these rims one time at Iola, or Jefferson, I think. It's either Jefferson or Iola for like 20 bucks for the set. Missing the centers, but between these, the ones that are on the car, I could probably come up with a pretty good set that's on the car. And in that box is an adapter plate to mount a Chev bell housing transmission to a back of a Buick Oldsmobile Pontiac. So I'd like to put a 700 R4 in this car. Center console. I'd like to get a new center console, but those are outrageously overpriced. Like $600-700 for a used one. Because that one, the previous owner put gauges in it. And it wouldn't be too bad if they actually made the gauges center, but they didn't center them. Because one's more center than the other, and it's frustrating to look at. But, and this seat's got to go. So that's sitting out here. And as soon as they're done wiring up the shed, then this is going to go back in there. So there's an update on the 73 Riv. Here's an update on the Allis. You see it hasn't moved at all since my last video. Still got to find a set of wheels for the front, for sure. The ones that are sitting there are 5 lug, and the ones that are on the tractor right now are 6. I did find a mag, got it on there, checked for spark. We have spark. Then here I did get a carburetor for it, rebuilt it. Fortunately the tank is shot, there's holes in it. So they're like, oh well, I'll turn it over. My buddy was here giving me a hand, and we tried spraying some ether in it just to hear it pop. But this plate's pretty well rotten right here. So I think that's what I'm going to putz on a little bit today, see if I can get that off somehow. And probably ain't going to happen without some heat. But pull that off and either get a new intake, which I think they're like 40 bucks on eBay, 20 bucks, something like that. They're not actually all that expensive. Or just maybe see if we could actually just replace the plate here. So that's update on the Allis WC. Here is my
Another project. My 1991 Dodge Stealth RT twin turbo all-wheel drive 5-speed. Whew! It's a mouthful. Yeah, pulling the motor out. Bad rod. Cylinder 1. Spun a bearing. Yeah. That's what I'm currently working on. Yeah. Picked the car up this summer for $2,800. Then 12 hours later, she had a rod knock. That's why I haven't really posted too much videos about the car, because it broke like immediately. So that sucked. A buddy of mine said the other day, he's like, "Hey, welcome to the DSM life, man. They're fun cars to own, quick cars to own, but broken cars to own. They're always broke." And he's had Talons and Eclipses and all of that. Now he's a Honda guy. But which sucks, because I really like this car. Kind of one of those things that was on like my bucket list of stuff to own. Maybe not so much a Stealth, because I never thought I'd be able to afford one of these cars, because for whatever reason, for a long time, even now, like, you see some of them for sale and they're astronomical pricing, 7-8 grand for one, 9, 10. It's like, holy crap. Granted, this one's not perfect. Some bubbling here. And where else? There's a little bit right here. Ding here, you know, just typical black car. Shows everything, scratches, tinted lights. Here. Other than that, that's pretty much about it for body flaws. I mean, paint's where I know it's red, so the door handle must have been replaced at one time. As you can see, in plastic like that. I mean, everything shuts real good, and ooh boy. Because I always wanted to own an all-wheel drive car. And I always wanted to own something turboed. And I'm like, wow, it'd be cool to get both in one shot. Own a all-wheel drive turboed car. And, well, at that point, you want a manual transmission, just because who the hell wants an automatic? And, well, I got it. I always thought it'd be an Eclipse or a Talon or something like that. Subaru WRXs are usually way overpriced. And these were always usually priced out of my range, considering for the most part I always kind of just wanted one just to probably own it for a little while and end up flipping it, selling it, whatever. This one I think I'll be keeping for a while, just because for something I just got, I'll be putting a lot of work into it just to, let's just ditch it right away. No, this one's going to be in my arsenal for several years at least. And the nice part is it's a unique enough car where I don't think I'd want to get rid of it. She's a little dirty, but a good buffing on it should get rid of a lot of the scratches. Probably shine pretty good. Could use a little bit of paint. But so I always figured I'd own an Eclipse or a Talon, and well, I know in the last few years, I know for a while there I saw a lot of them on like Craigslist and Facebook and stuff like that for like $800, $900, $1,000, $1,500. So it's like, well, that's well within my price range. I can afford one of those. And then it just seems like in the last 2 or 3 years I can't touch one unless it's a parts one for under like $2 grand. It's like, wow, what happened? Why did they all go up in price? Like a lot. Like, I could buy a running driving one 4 years ago for $1,500. I can't even touch a parts one for under $3. You know, it's like, holy crap, what the hell happened? I was talking to my buddy, and my buddy's like, hey, I know a guy at my work who's selling one. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, Stealth. Like, oh, those are cool. You know, I mean, a lot cooler than the Talons and Eclipses, I think, looks-wise. And he's like, yeah. Told me a price, and I'm like, you know what? I need to get this car. And it took a little while, but eventually did, and, well, here we are. So, that's the story of the Stealth. Now, update on this car. My 85 Z28. Oh boy. Yes. Whoa. As it sits right now, it's a running driving car. Though I need to put that transmission in it. 4L80E. I gotta get a stall converter yet for it. Stock converter. The converter in this car right now is a 2400 B&M whole shot and the 700 R4. That's bone stock. And the 700 R4 doesn't like it. It's very unhappy. Because once you go full throttle, it just doesn't want to hold up. It slips. So eventually that's going to go in it. But I should really have that sent to a shop, rebuilt. So that way, at least with a shift kit in it, maybe have them clean it up real nice. I got to get it like a, I think if I'm going to do it again, I'm going to get a 3000 stall. Something a little bigger. And then probably a different length drive shaft and cross member. So, just at the moment, I haven't had much motivation to pull the transmission out of this car. It's kind of a pain with the long tube headers, because the long tube headers doesn't allow the motor to rock back at all. And that makes it a pain. So I would have to pull the headers off. To pull the headers off, I gotta pull the starter out. What it more is all on this side. I gotta unbolt the headers, pull them back, unbolt the starter, pull the starter out. Then you can get the header out. And then you can pull the driver's side header off. And then allows the motor, well then I probably gotta remove the distributor. So that way I can get the motor to rock back to get the transmission out. So it's like, yeah, that's a lot of work just to pull the transmission. But other than that, that's pretty much all this car needs, other than a cleaner battery, cleaner looking battery, and a hood. I'd like to get a hood on it. I'd like to find a base model hood for cheap, because I don't want to pay a lot of money just to hack a hole in it. Or maybe a Z28 hood if I find one cheap enough. I do not want to cut up this factory hood I got with the car in case for whatever reason I want to eventually stick the factory hood back on it and go with a different setup. Never probably going to happen, but at least I'll have the option. So that is the 85. Then just some random stuff in my garage here. There's the 5.3 that's going to go in the Army truck. There's the floor pan out of the Army truck. On the wagon down there is the Buick 455, along with all of its parts are inside that bin over there underneath my workbench. Some bell housings. One of them is a Buick bell housing for a manual transmission. That's in case I ever want to go with a stick. And then way on the bottom there, that's probably for the Army truck project, aftermarket bell housing, so I can run a hydraulic slave cylinder on like a SM465 transmission, granny 4-speed, like the one that's sitting there. But this one is a junk transmission. Ear is snapped off, and I believe, I don't know if it'll show up on camera, the splines back here are actually twisted as they come out. So whoever had this in their truck beat the living hell out of it. And that transmission there, that's 5-speed out of a 4-cylinder S10. Then that's kind of a dream build of mine. I'd like to take like a supercharged 3.8 V6, put it like in a Model A or something like that with that transmission. And next to it, it's a 700 R4 with the housing's cracked on it. So that transmission's junk. That one's the one I blew up at the drag strip. Got a video of that. And here's a set of stage 1 Buick 455 heads. There is the original motor, or the motor I got with the red guzzler. Bad bearings in it. There's the crankshaft for it. There's the pistons. That cam is out of the LT1 that's in my 96 Camaro. Where that one's got my aftermarket camshaft in it. This motor's junk. This came out of a buddy of mine's 3/4 ton 87 Chev K20. 350 crate engine. He was mud running, blew a hole in the radiator, filled it up with water, got it home in the summer. Then he just pulled the lower radiator hose on the water pump. And well, this much of the block was still had water in it. And sat for like 2 years in his garage. Well, his garage isn't heated, so water cracked the block. I guess you can't really see it. Anyways, it's like cracked right in the lifter valley right in there. So this motor's junk. It's just got some basic smog heads on it, weak heads. Just the only thing that's good on this motor is the camshaft, the cover, oil pan, pulley, valve covers, clamshell, flex plate. That's pretty much it. And probably the bottom end, but the block itself is junk. So a bunch of oil pans. Buick 350. Price was right, free. I'd like to get it running one day. That'd be cool. I gotta remove the water pump. But yeah, this motor sat for a long time outside, so. This is when I had my LeSabre, and my buddy is like, hey, my uncle's got one that's literally just sitting on a barrel that's just gonna get scrapped. So it's like, oh, hey, I'll take it. 2-barrel carb. Like I said, I'd like to get it running again. Here is the LT1 that came out of my 96 Camaro. Spun cam bearing. Other than that, it's a good motor. So, I believe a set of heads are in the back that are for LT1. This is a stock LT1 intake. Since all the stuff that was on this motor, I pulled off and put on the block of the other one. So, yeah, you can kind of see the heads in there. Oh yeah. Here is the 96. Runs and drives, kinda. Got the 3rd gen rear end still in it. Here's the Ford 9-inch that I want to put in my 85 Camaro, the stock hood out of my 85 Camaro. And this is the black hood with the bonded on fiberglass scoop. But after the motor swap, we're having a tough time bleeding the air out of the coolant system. I'm really struggling with it. It's the only thing that's stopping this car from being driven. Or else it runs and drives. So, yeah. I gotta do something with the oil pressure gauge. It pegs out, the aftermarket one. I mean, this car needs quite a bit of TLC work. Power windows motors don't work. I bought new ones, put them in, still don't work. New switch, don't work. Pretty fed up with it, so I got a set of manual doors, and I might just throw on this car and then just be manual windows. Except the factory door color on those was purple, but that someone must have spray painted that car yellow for whatever reason, so the doors actually have yellow spray paint over the purple factory paint. So I want to find a way to strip the yellow off somehow, but keep it the purple, so then it's not black front, yellow doors, and the purple and black top. It's like, really? Gonna be a rainbow car here. But yeah, that's about the only thing wrong with this car is there's air in the coolant system. So after she runs for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, she starts overheating. And freaking fought with it and fought with it and fought with it. Just can't get the air bled out. So that's the update on the 96 Camaro. And now that winter's here, I'm not in a big hurry of bleeding the air out. It's kind of like, whatever, it's going to be snowing any day now, and they already laid some salt down on the road, so it's like, yeah, this car is done for the year. Here's an update on the red guzzler. Sitting at the guy's shop who does the welding for me. We were going to custom make a bracket for the shifter there, but kind of got impatient, and then that's what the blue cable there is for. But what I'm actually going to do now is get a low car shifter for it to keep it a column shift, because I was going to put a B&M ratchet shifter in it and never did it. So I'll probably do a little video on me working on that, putting that in. So it's like super easy because there's no fender wells in it or nothing like that. A little dirty, but it does run. It just needs needs a good couple days solid of just finishing it up, putting the fenders back on it, getting the bumper on it. So the bumper, I'm gonna have to come up with brackets for it, finish the wiring for like the alternator. Wire up my cooling fans here. So yeah, some odds and ends. Getting over here, put the exhaust on. Some mufflers are in here, random stuff. So that's an update on the red guzzler. Update video on the army truck. I got it home. It's about the update I got for it. I gotta get a rebuild kit for the carburetor. That's why the carb's off. I gotta come up with some kind of exhaust system, at least a pipe coming down and out. But I gotta pull the intake off first and find out if anything is like in the intake and the reason why the truck won't start. Because got fuel, got spark, it has compression, and granted not the world's greatest compression. I mean, there's a couple cylinders that are pretty low, but the truck ran before, so there's no reason why the truck shouldn't run now. But now that it's home, I could fix things like the broken step mount down here. Get that fixed so you can actually step on the step again. Get rid of this tank. I got the other tank from the other truck, put that in there, and put the filler neck the way it's supposed to be and everything. Oh boy. Wow, really? Well, we're looking inside. Door panel came off, half off. So the screw must have fell out or something. So Like, I believe there's the air cleaner, some random stuff. So on the bed of the truck here, I got all sorts of just stuff. Here's the 235 out of the parts truck. Got a couple transmissions back here. Steel cable, sorts of random stuff. So, yeah, that's the update on the Army truck. Update on the Ford. I don't think I got any videos of this truck other than the cold start video of it. That's back when the engine block heater didn't work, and I put one in now. Kind of see it down there. Definitely works now. I mean, you could probably get in there and the truck will fire right up. Not sit there for a 20-minute video of me trying to start this truck when it's freezing cold outside. But the truck needs some brake work. I gotta do some brake work to it. That's the only brake that's working on the truck. For whatever reason, the rest of them aren't. It's full of fluid and everything, so I don't know why it's doing it. I also got to fix this mount for the light up here. So that's the way I got it. So at night you can see, shines in the bed and everything. And inside some miscellaneous random stuff. But in the back, got the plow blade off the red guzzler. This truck's got to get to the guy who does my welding, and he's got to put a blade on it. I bought a blade from him, sitting over there. It needs to get mounted on the truck. There's some of the brackets for that blade, and I got this from work for free, so it's sweet. Here's the axle out of the parts truck, just some spare tires. So, but I think this bed's going to come off this truck. Not sure yet. Put the stock box back on it, and then this bed might go back on the red guzzler, or a wrecker bed's going to go on the back of the red guzzler, and then this flatbed might get turned into a little like dump trailer. I think that'd be pretty useful. So, not sure. There's a bunch of plans kind of floating around. Nothing's set in stone. So, yeah, that's an update on the Durford. And then the Reatta. What a great running car. It's now got 223,300 and I think 56 when I last looked. And that was just like a couple minutes ago. Just came back from town. Took the car, picked up a set of snow tires. Great running car. Still has that slight little bit of a miss to it when it sit. You can hear it. And under wide open throttle, it doesn't rev past 3 grand under a load. Like if I fired it up, put it in park or neutral and just rev it, it'd rev high. But if you're in drive and you're going down the road, it will not go past 3 grand. It'll spit and sputter and shake. So I'm gonna try replacing the crankshaft positioning sensor. I'm talking to some guys at work, said try that. So I'll try that. It's relatively cheap, just a pain in the butt to do. So it'll probably be a spring project. But I got new struts in the front and everything, new struts, sway bar, wheel bearing on the driver's side, new brakes and rotors all the way around. These are Grand Am GT wheels on it. I just knocked out the center so it doesn't have the Pontiac emblem on them. But the new struts sit a lot higher in the front, so the car has this real like ghetto lean to it. Front sits higher than the back, and that bothers me. Unfortunately, they don't make replacement spring in the back. It's like a Corvette suspension in the back. I don't know if we're gonna be able to see it. No, not really. Well, anyways, it's just a mono spring that mounts in the center, and then the ends of the spring push down on the ends like that. and I suppose 223,000 on it. It's wore out, so fortunately they don't make new ones, so I'm nervous about buying a used one just because I don't want to spend $100. Right now there's one on eBay, and I don't want to spend $100 and just to have the same problem. So yeah. And here's a video of my 99 Riviera. I didn't do any videos of this car because, much like the Stealth, I broke this car like shortly after I got it, within a week. So like the last 2 vehicles I bought ended up being pretty big bummers. This one in particular broke right there. Now you see there's a bunch of new metal here and there. So, but I didn't think it looked that bad when I looked at the car, but it is. So all that's been welded up and everything, and so that is the story with that. So there's actually no good walk around video of this car, and then I put these wheels on it, and then this wheel fell off, and when it fell off it wrecked the fender, and just all sorts of bad stuff happened to the car in like a very short period of time. Then it sat at my grandparents for a while because I stuffed it in the woods and kind of just like, screw this car. Now winter's here, and I'm like, well, I'll drive it in the winter. It's already shot, so I'll drive it for a year, and then there's a guy that does the welding for me. He's the one who welded up. He's like, I give the car a year, maybe 2. He's like, then ditch it, sell it, whatever, scrap it. But car's in the interior's in good shape. The motor's runs healthy. It's got low miles on it, or lower miles for a 3.8, 135,000. And for the most part, it drives good. The seats are really comfortable. But it's supercharged 3.8 V6. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to drive the car this year and then pull this out. Keep the motor and trans, keep the seats. Probably put the seats in my army truck project, that I got really nice seats in that truck. And then get my hands on a Fiero and do a supercharged 3.8 swap to it. But I got a set of snow tires in the back of the Reatta right now, and that's actually for this car. So just other than that, the car's not in too bad a shape. I'll probably end up keeping the car for a parts car because I will own another one of these. I enjoy driving this car a lot. It's quick with that supercharged 3.8, 240 or 270 horse, something like that. And it's quick. I mean, it's not super fast, blow my Camaros and stuff away, but it definitely a lot faster than that or that or that. So yeah, that is it. That is an update video of all my projects. That's the reason why none of them are getting very far very fast. Plus, I'm working 2 jobs. The only days I get off is Saturday, so you get 1 day off a week, and you got to keep your daily driver running and work on other projects like the Stealth and stuff. So yeah, I figured that would be a nice little update video on some of my projects, and for anyone who's curious. So hope you guys have a good day.